right, welcome back to WWTA News. That's right, welcome back for another episode. I'm trying to do my best at getting this news and information out there. I'm doing my best. Hey, yes, this is what I'm doing. Work with me. Let's get it all out there. All right, so look, thank you for coming back for another episode. We got some more news to get through. Hopefully, again, this news will mean something for those of you who are returning. It'll maybe be helpful to sharing or getting your family members, friends, and loved ones to see what you see since you're in this space as well. All right, so I'm just here to bring the information when I find it, I see it, I read it, and I'm just sharing it to all y'all. So look, let's dive right in. All right, interesting here. This is a payments report. Right, it says the Ricks Bank is modernizing its systems. And in our last episode, we heard a little bit about this, so we're going to go a little bit further in, all right? So it says payments moving to ISO 20022. Obviously, right? Obviously. We've been talking about this for some time now, right? It says digital payments rely on communication between the parties involved in the payment systems, must therefore communicate using the same language. All around the world, central banks, and financial infrastructures use the SWIFT network and its format and standards to make payments. SWIFT's previous standards has limitations, including the amount of information that can be sent with a payment. Consequently, in autumn of 2020, SWIFT presented a strategy and timetable for migration to the new ISO 20022 format. Obviously, right? This isn't new information for us. This is just kind of repeating the same thing over and over again, but it's to help your family, friends, and loved ones understand what's really going on. There's no secrets here, okay? It continues to say, in March 2023, the Euro system will migrate to ISO 20022 for payments. Globally, the transition is expected to last until 2025, which is SWIFT's end date for its old format and the old standard for cross-border payments. The end. Everybody by 2025 must be using this new system. You know what I'm saying? This isn't make believe. If you're on this channel, and obviously you know this ain't make believe, I've just been reading articles over and over and over, just helping us see the same thing. Like, if your brain has not figured out what's going on, you need another brain. That's all I can think of. Like, your brain needs to be exchanged with another brain because your brain not working. It's written all over the walls here. Okay. RIXT, INST, which went live in May 2022, is based on ISO 20022. The international use of ISO 20022 opens the door to faster and more efficient processing of payments between countries and currencies. All right, countries don't trust each other. All right, they don't. It's like, yo, I don't trust you. You want to sanction me? You want to sanction them? Like, I don't mess with none of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And your money funny to me. Your money funny. What you backing your money with? I ain't seen nothing you got. You just keeping all. You want me to believe your money good. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, right? It goes on to say the new format, which includes more information, can also help to increase the transparency and traceability of cross-border payments. So yes, the payments will be known to and from, because that's obviously what blockchain does. As far as the technology they'll be using is API, which means that information will be pinned from exchange to business, say blah, which will be sharing this information so they know how much money is being generated here, what money's being sent over there, what money is a payment for a good or a service, which makes it business money, what money is being sent for just goods, for people to use at their home, not for a business, but being bought from business. So therefore, the fair taxes can be enacted, because obviously, for everybody telling you they don't want crypto, let's just knock them in the head with this one. If you don't want to use crypto, right? Oh my goodness, this is the devil's money, right? This is, I don't even want to get into semantics, but you people that use these words, I challenge you to go look these words up and get their true or actual definitions, not what people want to define words as. I'm going to pinpoint you people to something called the Etymology Dictionary online. Use it, okay? A lot of smart people, right, figured this out that if they wanted to be in the know, they need to know the language that is being spoken. So they don't want to be misled with somebody's semantics. They want to know exactly what's being discussed. I challenge you all to know what you're talking about. That's it. Just go look up the words, see what's being discussed, and get an understanding of it because you'll find all that stuff out. All right, but let's continue, right? So when we talk about the corruption that happens with businesses and institutions, let's just think about this for a minute. If you're working in a business that doesn't have traceability, like that's traceable outside of your company, right? That has an API to where some other system can keep record of the transactions, then you can have money siphoned out of accounts. If you're a bank, you can have money siphoned. SunTrust was known for this. I don't know if any of you guys remember how SunTrust was skimming money out of their clients' accounts. They were skimming money out of those accounts. And where I don't remember the last time I've seen a SunTrust bank. Has anybody seen a SunTrust bank? Whatever. That's probably why. But they were skimming money, and they're not the only bank to do that. I mean, once you start, and look, don't even just think about banks about this, because businesses do it as well. And it's not that the business is doing it as so much it is the person working at the business or the establishment. So don't get me wrong here and say like he's saying that businesses still, yeah, it's like a gun. And let's just use this. I know I'm going off in a different direction, but I'm gonna bring it all back. Joe, I'm gonna bring it all back. I'm gonna bring it all back. Anyways, I'm gonna bring it all back. But check it out. So you got a gun, right? You got a gun. It's loaded. Bullets is in the clip, and you got one in the chamber, and the safety's off, right? And it's laying on a table. That gun is not gonna magically float up in the air, aim at a person, and then fire itself. Okay, so that's not the gun, right? So we'll treat the business and the gun as the same thing. A person has to be behind the gun, aiming it and firing it. Just like a person has to be inside that bank, sending money from one account to the next account, skimming. Okay? So we can't necessarily blame banks and businesses just like we can't blame guns. All right. So do y'all get that? I know y'all get that. I know y'all get that. So if somebody's telling you they don't want crypto or nothing like that, let's just think about that. That just means that you don't want to be accountable for any things that you might be doing. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult out here because it's so easy to see the world and see everything that the world has and not have, and just want to, cheat the system a little bit, because it's a part of human nature to want to cheat so they can get the win. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? We are not perfect. We're all in the flesh, and I'm not going to go to preaching because that's not what this channel is. I just want to help you understand that when it comes to blockchain networks and cryptos, traceability and transparency is one of the most important factors to conducting business. Why they need the blockchain. All right. Whew, boy, you got long-winded with that, bruh. All right. So look, it says currently households and companies use the mobile service Swish to send and receive instant payments. Swish payments are settled via the bank accounts in a private system called BIR, Betalningar. Woo! Did I stumble over that or what? Betalningar. Real ID. Real time ID, I guess that's what that's trying to say. The plan is for this to change in 2023 when Swish payments will be settled in RIX Inst. The advantage of this is that settlement can take place via the bank's accounts with the RIX Bank. Money in accounts at the RIX Bank, known as central bank money, reduces risk during settlement. This is because the RIX Bank cannot go bankrupt. So what they're saying is their money's backed up, so they have a central bank money that's theirs, that they have actual assets to back it up, so you know that they not gonna just, you're not getting screwed. Okay, so it's like, we got this, we good. this is what you want. You don't want that volatile cryptocurrency out there, because cryptocurrency can be, is obviously look at the market. The market's crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? We're like at 799 billion. You know, we had an all-time high of almost 3 trillion. We just dropped from last week, like what, 840 billion. It's just steadily dropping, bleeding out. You know, in my personal opinion, that's just people selling off, right? Normal people getting out of the space for whatever reason. But so obviously you don't want to be on a volatile side, so you're going to want a stable coin, or you're going to want a central bank digital currency, right? Another advantage for the banks of moving Swish to RIX INST is that it is part of the same system as the settlement service for large value payments. RIX RTGS, liquidity that participants have set aside for Swish or other instant payments. Now that is important, right? So liquidity that participants have set aside for Swish or other instant payments. That means money to the side waiting, all right? Now, when I look at the system in blockchain, it's like, okay, I'm under the impression that you're going to need to have so much um, uh, of these ISOs sitting to the side so you can make your transactions. So just imagine, and I'm just speculating here, that in your bank, because you want to send that money to the next bank, right? You've got to have so much of, let's just pick one, let's say XLM, right? And don't hold to none of this, because you know there's a list of 7 ISO ready blockchains or cryptos that are ready for this, right? I'm just throwing something out there. So let's just say your bank needs to have in liquidity, let's say, $5 million worth of XRP, which it can exchange for USDC stablecoin, or a central bank digital currency, or whatever the case may be, because those run on ISO. So if your bank has to have 5 million, let's just stellar lumens, so that it can then swap out for any stablecoin or central bank digital currency, then that's sitting in reserve waiting so that these transactions can happen. And that's just the way I understand it. I could be wrong. Help me if I'm wrong. Post in the comments. That's just how I see it. So that means the possibility and growth in value for these particular cryptocurrencies is major. All right, but let's continue. It goes on to say, and let's see, liquidity that participants have set aside for Swish or other instant payments and large value payments will therefore be in the same system, which will allow participants to move their liquidity between the different services more easily on an almost 24-hour basis. It will also allow participants to reduce their costs for the liquidity used for instant payments. And why? Well, if you pick any one of those 7 ISO ready cryptocurrencies or blockchains, it's like not even a penny for the transaction. So yeah, right. I mean, this isn't rocket science. We're just reviewing articles and information that just agrees to everything that we've been seeing so far. Okay. All right, so let's move on from that. We got an article here that says Inside Nigeria's Ambitious Push of Cashless Society. The Naira, the electronic Naira, Naira. I want to say Naira, right? That's what I really want to say, Naira. Nigeria's phasing out of physical cash goes hand in hand with its push to encourage adoption of its central bank digital currency, CBDC, right? The Naira or Naira. But I really want to say the electronic Naira. All right, so let's go on. It says, while not acting as a store of value, right, like something like Bitcoin does, right? In the same way as cryptocurrency, the CBN, the central bank's Naira, would help further promote financial inclusion. It's also accessible on all bank apps and USSD, unstructured supplementary service data, a quick code used on GSM cell phones to communicate with the network's computers. And before everybody's like, oh my god, a GSM cell phone, this is so, yeah, just chill out for a minute, bruh. That's what they using out there, bruh. You know what I'm saying? That's what they using out there. And so it allows them to make these payments electronically, which is helping businesses move forward. So this is a great thing. Moving along, it says True USD's offshore Chinese yuan pegged TCNH stablecoin launches on Tron. TCNH is pegged to offshore Chinese yuan at a 1-to-1 ratio. Offshore currencies are stored and traded outside the issuing country and are often used as foreign exchange reserves or for international investments or settlements. They are also not subject to the issuing country's financial regulations. Yes, it's like, is that even legal? How does that even work? I don't know about that one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that one. ISO 2002 migration. So this was something I saw. It was on a Twitter feed. It was a whole lot of information. I just got the actual sheet because this was the important part to me that I wanted to share. And so there's migration timelines, and just screenshot it from the video, or just pause the video and take a look at it. But you can see Swift March 2023, coexistence, Eurozone March 2023, enhanced ISO, UK's CHAPS April 2023, enhanced, right? So these are their timelines to get these things enacted with the ISO system. So I just thought that was interesting. If I could remember the share, I just want to say thank you. I got it off a Twitter feed. Like I said, I just had to get the information to fit the screen. So, screenshot it, pause it, take a look at that. All right, we got one from Daily Coin. It says ECB would put private banks in charge of users' digital euro wallets. What's up with that, bruh? I don't know. The ECB explained its vision of how the digital euro would work. The euro system, which comprises the ECB and the central banks of the member states, would be in charge of the issuance and the settlement of the digital euro, right? Obviously that's how they're going to want to play it because central bank, right? Europe's monetary authority says its role in processing user data would be minimal. The euro system would not be able to infer how much digital euro an individual end users hold, nor to infer end user payment patterns, the ECB says. Even though if the technology is watching the transactions, it's going to have a record of. I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? Come on, we're not going to go for that, right? We know that you're going to. I mean, okay, so let's just play devil's advocate. All right. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to be spied on, but what I will say is, if for some reason that it seems like through social media or any other thing that you might be associated with nefarious actors or involved with nefarious practices, I'm sure they would take that stuff and use it to get legal instruments to allow them to pull up these records for the purpose of catching any form of criminal activity. I'm well aware that that's highly probable, but if you already have access, wouldn't you use it? You know what I'm saying? Because you've already got access to it. All right, but it says, on the other hand, distributing these digital euros to users would be in the hands of private entities. Intermediaries such as credit institutions and payment service providers would handle all user-facing transactions. Oh, so they're putting a middleman in between them and you. They want somebody to be in the middle, okay? And this is where we start talking about normal banks that you already have, right? Institutions. As such, they would have a similar role to banks in the current system. Right. Duh. Intermediaries would be in charge of opening digital euro accounts or wallets and associated payment operations, the report says. And so let me say this. For the common person, they would prefer to have something like this because they're going to want that middleman being responsible because they don't want to have to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? But let's move along. They would be in charge of opening digital euro accounts or wallets and associated payment operations. In addition, intermediaries would be responsible for know your customer and anti-money laundering checks. So you wouldn't even have to know, right? Your bank wouldn't even have to tell you. They'll probably notify you that they're using this new technology. They'll probably give you a link to where you can read about it, which you're not going to do. Most people aren't going to read it. And they will be letting you know when they're doing this that they're doing this, and you'll probably never read about it. But then they'll be doing this stuff like we've discussed in previous videos behind the scenes, because there is not so much for you as it is for them, because the end result for them is that instantaneous settlement and transaction. It's the new messaging system that they have to be up and running by 2025, because it's the new way we're going to conduct business. So whether you like it or not, irrelevant, doesn't matter whether you're involved in it now and reap a benefit of being a holder of what they're all going to have to hold in those banks to conduct this business. Follow the money, follow the money. Hey, bruh, follow the money, follow the money trail, right? The banks is always making the money. You're seeing here that the banks are going to be the intermediaries, so they're going to have all this stuff, all right? Hey man, I don't make this stuff up. I just read the articles to you all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all gotta do. All right, next. Brazilian president signs bill regulating use of Bitcoin as payment. Here we go, bruh. Brazilian president Jair uh, Bolsonaro on Thursday morning signed a bill into law that establishes a complete regulatory framework for the trading and use of Bitcoin in the country. According to the federal government's official journal, President Bolsonaro enacted the bill approved by Congress without any modifications. As previously reported, the new rules recognize Bitcoin as a digital representation of value that can be used as a means of payment and as an investment asset in the South American nation. The new law, which goes into effect 180 days after today's signature, does not make Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency a legal tender in the country, notwithstanding the legitimacy conferred upon Bitcoin's use case as payment is meaningful and has the potential to spur greater activity in the country. The extent to which that happens, however, is dependent on the actions of the regulator in charge. The executive branch will select the government bodies that will oversee the market. The expectation is that the Central Bank of Brazil, the BCB, will be in charge when Bitcoin is used as payment, while the country's Securities and Exchange Commission, the CVM, will be the watchdog when it is used as an investment asset. Both the BCB and the CVM, along with the Federal Tax Authority, RFB, helped lawmakers craft the overhaul legislation. So, yeah, they might go that way, but in the end, they're going to have to go the other way, because it doesn't make any sense to use Bitcoin in such a manner. And with the Swift messaging system coming into play, it's going to make more sense that they move on to an ISO. So even though we're seeing this here today, I would even wonder if the next step in the future for them is going to literally be just using an ISO system so that they can move stable coins as well as creating their own central bank digital currency to move on the ISO system, which is going to be the most effective and efficient rail to use. Okay. All right, stablecoin settlements can surpass all major card networks in 2023. Is that so? Peter Johnson, co-head of the venture at Brevon Howard Digital, said that stablecoin settlements had already surpassed MasterCard and American Express. Furthermore, he predicted that in 2023, on-chain stablecoin volumes will surpass the Visa transaction volumes. He also noted that stablecoins volume would not only surpass Visa, but most likely surpass the aggregate volume of all four major card networks: Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover. Johnson added that these on-chain stablecoin volumes don't include a trading volume or centralized exchanges, which has a significant chunk of its own. So, yeah, I mean, stablecoin, whether we like this or not, is going to be a trusted, non-volatile currency to be exchanged over these networks. Central bank digital currencies are in play and being created the same now. And so we're going to see, again, institutions, banks businesses, this is how they're going to do business. So of course you're not going to have Visa and MasterCard and these other card holders being top dog no more, because you can bypass all that. Right, you can just boop, bypass it. So major news. I hope you all gained or gleaned valuable information from this that you can share with your family, friends, and loved ones. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, because I want more people to see and hear about this wonderful news. Anyways, that's all I got for this episode. I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you.